Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And the new cancel culture is here. We're going to talk about gaming journos waging war against generative AI in video games, which to me seems kind of silly given that the games are all digital to begin with.
Yeah, I know, but the journalists need a new boogeyman to go after to try to stay relevant.
And that's what's going on here, because we've gotten beyond the politics for the most part. I mean, there are a few exceptions, but they know that they can't get you. They can't get you for being a Trump supporter. They can't get you even for being a transphobe, because see also Hogwarts Legacy. So now they're going to try to get you for using AI, but it's not going to go very well for them because so many games are using AI right now. Just a lot of these developers aren't admitting to it, but they're all using it.
Yeah, this is not whether or not, we're not debating whether you think AI is, properly used or not. That's not the debate. The debate is, they're like, if you used AI at all, you shouldn't be eligible for things, but they're all using it in some way or another.
So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to more.clowntv.com and sign up. We're going to be doing some more podcasts going into 2026. So thank you so much for the support. So yeah, this kind of hit critical mass this week. We talked about a little bit in another video that Claire Obscure had some awards yanked from it because it came out that they used a handful of generative AI images in pre-production. I guess one of those images wound up in the final product by accident.
Okay, so one did get through?
Yes, and that disqualifies them from being Game of the Year in the Indie Game Awards, I guess. Like, that's the dumbest shit I've ever... Like, if the entire game were generated with AI, that's one thing. But we're talking, they used like 12 images and one of them got through. And that was enough to get them disqualified.
This is so stupid.
They're trying to send a message.
I mean, I personally think that AI is a tool, but I don't think it should replace people. But if a tool used to put temporary images in that got through, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think it's a bunch of people, like I said in the other video, they were worried they were going to take awards from them.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah, and what they're doing is they're picking a high-profile target because they were going after Larian too. And Larian, they loved Larian last year when you could, fuck a bear.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But that's because it was when they were human form. It was they were two dudes.
Okay, and it was consensual.
Yeah, apparently
consensual bear canoodling. But no, they love that, right? But they don't love that they admitted to using or experimenting with AI. And I give them props for actually admitting it, because I'm telling you right now, and this article seems to support that. All the studios are using it because it's an incredible time saver, and everybody's up against the deadline gun. And again, it's a whole nother video to discuss the ethics of it or whatever. I think if you're using AI, it's trained on your own stuff, or you're using it as a placeholder or something, but the final product is clearly human directed, human overseen, because it has to be. I don't see an ethical dilemma there. I don't think if you want to use AI to enhance your own artwork, I don't see an ethical dilemma there.
I mean, yeah, I think it could actually open the door for more. You get more games out, but that might be bad too, because they won't sell as much because there's too much competition. And see also streaming, but I'm just like, at the end of the day, though, they're all using it in some way, whether it be in the game or the equipment they use to make the game, the programs they use to make the game have AI in it, guaranteed. The promotional channels they're using, promoting on social media, all those things have AI in it, guaranteed. So
Gmail has AI in it now.
If you're mad about AI, but you're using everything else that has AI in it, it's a little bit hypocritical.
Well, it's a lot hypocritical, because that's what's going on here. So basically, a lot of people working in the video game industry lost their jobs this year, which it sucks. I mean, it does.
A lot of people did, yeah.
But a lot of the people who lost their jobs worked on games that gamers did not want. Those games cost too much, and those people ran at the mouths.
Well, yeah, that's just it. A lot of them got fired because they were making comments about when Charlie Kirk got killed,
yeah,
or they were out there attacking fans, or a big part of it was they all wanted to triple down on these idiotic games that people were like, these are bad ideas. I wouldn't do that. And even it's unfair to people that work there that are just following marching orders. It's not their fault, but they got laid off anyway. But you have these people that are like putting activism first and game second, and then the games don't do well. Shocker. You can't just say it's the bigots because globally they don't do well. And then you're like, people get laid off because that's how it happens. Anytime a company starts having a dip, they have to lay people off. This is just the way it is for a lot of people.
This is the way it is.
It's not, it sucks, but it is the reality.
So let's look at this article here. Yeah, there are all kinds of hit pieces being written all of a sudden. And it's like somebody got the marching orders. It's only been the last like month or so that I've really noticed it ramping up. And
They're
I think
trying to generate like a bunch of buzz because they're probably lacking on views. So they're like, hurry, make another conspiracy so that we can, get some hits.
Yes, that's what's going on here. And they're going to rage at the AI for job losses. And it's like, if you're that easily replaced, then you probably didn't belong in the industry anyway. I'm just saying. Games Radar has it. Steam games that openly use generative AI earned $666 million this year, including Call of Duty, Black Ops 6, Stellaris, and more, as studios continue to rely on the technology.
But that's not going to change. That's not going to change.
It's not going to change. And what do you think game engines are, right? When somebody designs a game engine, that's basically a shortcut. It's like buying a cake mix and then you turn it into something else, right? But somebody's already done a lot of the work, the physics and all that stuff for you. Unreal Engine and Square had their Crystal tools or whatever back in the day. And it was like your starter mix. And then you would turn it into another kind of game. And that's okay. But using AI to maybe help compile code faster or, come up with some different textures, that's not okay.
I was just watching Expedition Unknown the other day, and cause I like this kind of shows. And they had taken all kinds of LiDAR mapping of the ocean, trying to find, a plane. And they used an AI program to take like what would have been weeks worth of work to go through every potential possible site. And they did it in a couple minutes. Like they ran it through the computer, through the AI, narrowed it down to like 4 or 5, sites that they could actually go investigate. They found the missing plane, but they found it based on that. If they had done it themselves, they could have easily overlooked it or whatever. And now still the AI, narrowed it down, took manpower away from the people that were the ones that would have to sit there and do it, the tedious work that they didn't want to do anyway. And then they were able to get to the site and do the actual work. Things like that, it's helpful. You're talking like using in the background to cut down on a lot of the unnecessary, extra work they put on their employees for things that are like busy work type situation that they can consolidate it down and make things get faster so they can get to the real work. How is that a bad thing? I don't think in that instance it's a bad thing.
I mean, I personally, again, this is, coming from a guy who's both a creative and a computer guy. Personally, I don't see it being any different than using like, a spreadsheet tool to do your books or, word processing or spell check or whatever. We have those tools that make things easier. And you think about what it was like 30, 40 years ago, just like you're saying, just to do business, just to keep a ledger on, paper. I mean, they had tools back then too, but like Lotus spreadsheets was a game changer because everybody used to have to keep a ledger. You used to have to balance your checkbook manually. You used to have to, all the stuff that we take for granted now because we've been living life on easy mode. But now those same principles are kind of going to be applied to creative too. And they have been for a while. I mean, I've watched, the beginnings of digital art. I remember when digital art was a novelty at first. And everybody said it was never going to catch on. Everybody wants real art, unless you're actually, sweating and, on the paper, the actual paper. Not really. I mean, the consumers are going to decide what flies and what doesn't fly. And they don't care how it's made, right? Most of them don't. Some of them do.
And a lot of it does still need human oversight. Like
most of it
the
needs
example I
human
gave,
oversight.
They ran to look at the computer, they got it narrowed down to the sites, but they still had to physically go to those sites to explore to do it, so they could get to it faster. And then they could, if they save so much time, they can go on to other things and then find other wrecks and things quicker.
So this is this article on Games Radar says that over 10,000 games on Steam, 8% of its library disclosed generative AI use, according to a report.
They're the ones that admit to it. I'm sure a lot of the other ones have it. They just don't admit it.
That's very important. Yeah. I'm telling you right now, I talk to people, pretty much everybody is using it on some level. Just, I would actually give Larry and studio behind Expedition 33, I would give them props for admitting it because those are very high profile studios.
Honest.
They're honest. Most people aren't.
And of that percentage, there's like that percentage of the catalog. Okay. And of that percentage, how many are the big studios? Because I guarantee it's going to probably make up most of it.
Disney is going in with OpenAI. They're all using it. Like, you're going to look, I'm telling you right now, 5 years from now, you're going to look incredibly stupid if you're so anti-AI. You're basically going to anti-AI your way out of the industry because it's going to be expected that you know your way around AI, just like you know Photoshop or any of the tools that are used to compile code. If you're, you know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna get left behind. You absolutely.
Well, the problem isn't knowing how to use it as a tool. The problem is, are they going to eventually get to a place where they just replace everybody with it? And that's the problem. That's my concern, because I am not a big fan of AI in that regard.
They have, I guess they just launched on YouTube that they're going to let people vibe code their own mobile type games.
Yeah, I saw that.
Post it, which is a very weird thing. I think right now where we're at with it is it's being overused. It's being injected into things that it doesn't need to be injected into.
It's being used as an excuse as well.
And it's also being used as an excuse to get rid of people. I'm going to be honest. A lot of you that got fired from the video game industry this year, you got fired because the games you worked on did not sell. They didn't like you personally. You wanted too much money, whatever the deal was. And they're like, yeah, we can get by with about 30% of the staff at this point. And that's what it's being used for. But yeah, it's happening. It's happening fast. It said the technology has caused panic around games like the upcoming Divinity, and it's even gotten award show darling Claire Obscure Expedition 33 in trouble at the Indie Game Awards, which retracted their Game of the Year win after developer Samfall Interactive, that's right, confirmed it used some generative AI while making the game. It's still the case, according to this report, that 12 games on Steam with AI disclosures have earned a staggering 8 figures in revenue, while 33 games hit at least $1 million in revenue and amassed 170 amassed 6 figures. Popular mainstream titles like Stellaris, Call of Duty Black Ops, and Inzoi are among those high earners. It's not just slop games that use generative AI, though the thought is more comforting. Ubisoft is going in on it. Blah, 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 blah.
They're all going to go in on it. I'm sorry.
They're all going in on it.
The big games are, you know why? Because they can get a lot done faster. They can get it out there faster. And the players, honestly, as long as it's not infecting the gameplay, they don't care.
I don't have the tweet pulled up, but there was a comic strip going around. Well, actually, they were using it. Square was using it to match the English dub for Final Fantasy VII Remake. They were using it to make sure the lips moved correctly.
Yeah, but that's not a big deal.
That's grunt work. You know what I'm saying? That's grunt work. We're not saying the AI is coming up with all your games, your game mechanics, whatever. It's just streamlining the process to get this shit out the door. Would you rather wait 8 years for a game because that's how long it's going to freaking take, and then when it ships, it's buggy as hell? Or would you rather get, a new title in your favorite series every other year, every 3 years? I mean, we're not talking about replacing everybody. We're talking about working more efficiently. That's the ideal use of it. Now, right now, they are using it as an excuse to get rid of people. That will change because we will hit a wall. Like, this is what AI can do. It's not magic. This is what it can do and what it can't do. It can help speed up certain things, but it's not going to replace everybody because it's not creative enough to do that. But I, as a creative, am excited about the possibilities, because I know how long it takes to do this shit. And if you work in the trenches on production, there are so many sleepless nights. I was working on stuff, and I'm like, my God, I wish I had help. I wish I had 10 helpers.
This could cut down on crunch for people too. Like, there are people complaining all the time about, the crunch on games and on animation and stuff like that. And I'm not saying replace people. What I'm saying is that some of these tools might help these people keep their jobs, but eliminate like a lot of the crunch work and the extra hours they have to put in, extra pay they'd have to get. I mean, that sucks because you won't get the extra pay, but you're not going to have to be working, like living in the office either. If there's tools that can help streamline that, so you can have like a better work-life balance. So there are upsides to it. Again, I'm not completely sold on it, but I think as a tool, not as a replacement, then it makes sense. But everybody's using it. Just going out witch hunting these people and making big articles about it, it's going to change nothing.
Yeah, it's not going to change anything. They're saying that, as long as the consumers buy it, Arc Raiders used it. They used it for the AI voices. And yeah, it's laughably bad sometimes. I mean, there was the dub that they did for Amazon.
So bad.
I forget the show, but it was so bad. It was actually
so bad.
I want to watch it now just to see how bad it is, but that's not a good use of it. The people, it's just like anything else. You can give grandma Photoshop and she can muddle her way through it and do a shitty cat meme or something for her church group on Facebook, right? That's scratching the surface. But you give Photoshop to somebody that's actually a trained creative and they know what the hell they're doing and they know how to make it sing, you're going to get vastly different results. And that's what's going to happen with AI. You're going to have people that are creative people, and they've been creative people, but they can make this stuff sing.
Hey, how do you know what grandma's thing is for her church group? Maybe it's for her, occultic heavy metal knitting group.
Okay, there you go.
You're being very, you're stereotyping there.
I am. But yeah, I mean, it's here. This guy here, Jacob Novak. Let's see, where is he from? He is a CEO and Emmy Award winner. Okay, from GenVid. Okay. And he worked for Square. Okay, he said, as Paul Tassi pointed out in the article, Activision isn't shying away from it, and they said Gen Z loves AI slop. They don't care. The upcoming
true.
Yeah. The upcoming generation of gamers are Bane in the Dark Knight Rises saying you're merely adopted the slop I was born in. That's pretty much it. And then people will spot the difference. There is a difference between it's
getting harder though.
It is getting harder, but people are going to, here's the problem too. You're going to have as a creative, as a developer, you're going to be competing and there is always going to be a demand for like artisanal art, like, hand done.
You mean like actual art?
Handcrafted. Yeah. Everything is done by hand, whatever. If you're using digital tools to any capacity at this point, I think that ship has already sailed for you. Unless you're actually sitting down with paints and pencils and ink and shit. I think that ship has sailed. You're already cheating. This is just the next level of it. Right. I mean, that's my feeling on it.
Well, it's a lot easier to use a tool on a computer than it is to actually physically know how to use it, in reality. There's an art teacher here, I'm telling you.
There was a big discussion, again, as a comic guy, a guy who's been doing this for a long time. There's a big discussion when digital tools were first introduced to comic art because you had unlimited undos, the ability to edit, make unlimited changes to things, save in layers, all that stuff. If you're sitting down with pencils or ink especially, do you know how much work it was to change a comic book panel or change dialogue in comics even 30 years ago? You would have to basically cut out a whole piece of Bristol board and redraw that section, use some whiteout, use some tape, and try to make sure it looked or matched as close as possible. And it was a huge effing mess. It could take a whole day to make changes to a page. And now you can do it very, very quickly with the tools we've had for the last 20 years. And this is even faster than that.
I do want to say real quick back to the Gen Z thing with AI. I don't know if it's Gen Z so much as it is Gen Alpha, because I know our kids.
Yeah, I think it's Gen Alpha.
I think our kids, they're like they hate AI. Like they totally hate it. They're Gen Z, and they're more anti-AI than like I am. And I don't think it's Gen Z so much as I think Gen Z, like they like to consume, but I don't think that all the Gen Z people, think AI is the greatest thing. I do think that that's more a Gen Alpha thing than Gen Z. I just want to make sure I put that out there. Yeah,
well, I mean, we're talking kids that, cut their teeth on Skibbity Toilet, which was not AI, but was AI. I would say AI adjacent in its quality, but
I mean, the crappy quality slop, I would say all Gen Z and Alpha like love to watch this stuff because like our kids are quoting stuff all the time, and when you look into what it is, it's like, what is that?
It's just a meme. It's
I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just saying. Like, I think that is true, but I don't think the AI aspect of it is all Gen Z. I think that's more Gen Alpha that they accept it without question.
All right, so there we go, guys. I mean, we're not telling you to accept it without question, but this is the new boogeyman going into 2026. You're going to see so many hit pieces on games that these people that are just prowling the internet, that a lot of them not even developers, they're just going to prowl the internet looking for problems, looking for tells of AI, and then they're going to narc.
I think too, you have a bunch of gaming journalists and stuff that they get a bee in their bonnet about something, and then they go around and Hogwarts Legacy or whatever, and it's all great and good until the gaming companies stop giving you shit.
Yeah,
and they're like, you know what? Yeah. We don't want you to cover our stuff. If you're going to be that, it's like when that time they did the review about the Xbox, and it was about complaining about holes, and the other one did the PlayStation 5 review and went on about how I can't believe I'm reviewing this and getting one of these when the world's going to shit and Trump and all this other stuff, and it's like, just don't give it to them then.
Yeah. That's just it, and that's what's going to happen. I think it's just this is a last gasp. This is desperation. They know they're done. They can't. A lot of these journalists can't compete with Chat GPT to write articles. So it's
Chat GPT or using Chat GPT.
They are. There are some things you can tell they are, and then they're actually gonna use Chat GPT to write an article about why you shouldn't use Chat GPT.
Probably.
So we're gonna wrap this up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.